Ngibingelele maswati lamahle ngibingelele babukeli bayo eSwatini TV. Sengisoke isikhathi simbukele selihlelo lakho lihamba Embili. Ngelo hlelo Embili kanye extra lapho khona mbukeli sikhuluma tindzaba letimcoka, tindzaba letitsinza wena, tindzaba letitsinza nami ekhathi. We talking about daily issues mbukeli. Nanamuhla ke hlelweni sitawenda njalo kanti ke lo hlethi nawe hlelweni ngoyembali wakaSimelane umngoni impembe Ndlebe zemchewani endlini hlala yenda ke mbukeli angihambi ngedwa. We do have a guest even today. Ngikhuluma ngayo umlangeni noNtobeko wakadlamini psychologist mbukeli as we were talking about a very serious topic, self-love. Dlamini, thank you so much for being with us ehlelweni namhla Embili kanye extra. Bengicela uvusele babukela emakhaya.
Siyabonga kakhulu Swazi TV or eSwatini TV. Siyabonga Mbali ukuthi nami ngibe khona ehlelweni leno. Ngiyabonga kakhulu. Ngivusele nebabukeli, ngivusele maswati onke. Sanibonani bonkosi.
Amen. Oba ngithi amen ngokuthi bonkosi. So, Ntobeko, this is a month of love. We are talking about self-love. A definition just ngena kule part leyo singakafiki lenza double month of love and Valentine's and everything. When we are talking about self-love, what are we really talking about?
Okay. Ngingathini nje sekuhlupha kona ukuthi vele timvo letiningi ngoba sifunze ngalesingisi. Nasikhuluma self-love luthando towards wena umuntu kusho ukuthini for you. But self-love really cela kuyibeka ngaso lesingisi ukuthi it relates to a person's ability and capacity to ukuthi bakhone to accept who they are. It talks about self-awareness. So those are the elements of self-love. Kukhona ukuthi wena umuntu before ufunela omunye umuntu ukuthi angaze akukhombise lithando. Unako yini wena as a person, you know, lokho ukuthi what love means for you. So self-love sibuketeke kona lokho ukuthi as a person it's that willingness as a person but ability to show for yourself, to show up actually for yourself in terms of self-care, self-awareness, having self-esteem and self-worth, knowing all of those elements about yourself. And on top of that, it relates to the fact that you care about your well-being, your wellness yakho, your happiness, and what I call also pursuit of self. Lapho khona as a person uthi lokuthi tsanza uhambisana hayi nemswenko hayi netivo leti physically kuphela. Do you take care of yourself? Do you prioritize yourself? And prioritize sikhulumisa ekuthenini ngoba lo umuntu angakubuka ukuthi it's like being selfish. It's not true. Being selfish. When you prioritize yourself, you are self-fulfilling. Ugcwalisa lokwekuthi nawe umuntu you can't pour from an empty cup.
True.
Ngeke umthanze lo umuntu ungakathi thanzi wena. And it just will talk, I'm hoping as we go through on how when you don't have self-love and awareness of self-love, how it then will affect your relationship with other people.
Yeah, true. I think self-love is a broad, it's very, very broad. Now, ngikhulumisa psychologist, psychologically, nasikhuluma nge self-love.
Yes.
It turns out nisikhuluma ngani?
Okay, from a psychological perspective, we were looking at, it's a concept that talks to the fact, I would say, as a person, you need to be aware of the things that really matter to you, but also that are specifically towards ensuring your well-being and your happiness, your joy, and ensuring that you are balanced in life. So when you don't have holistic balance, then you are bound to have challenges ngetimo nje generally. Uyayibona vele nekuthi umuntu ukhona njani kudila netimo. Uyayibona vele ukuthi letinye tinfo uthole ukuthi they're not even as we see them. You know, they're not what we term them to be or claim they are, because in actual fact we don't actually have self-love for ourselves. We keep seeing everything from externally. So psychologically speaking, self-love has to do with internal locus of control as well.
Yeah.
Internal locus of control sikhulumela ukuthi kubuketa ukuthi timo takho tempilo, they are not always coming from outside. It's being accountable for impilo yakho. Being responsible for impilo yakho. Knowing ukuthi, no one owes you anything, actually.
True.
You need to grab life by,
True.
its horns and live life and thrive to be happy wena qala before you can expect that of another person.
But then you did mention ngokuthi sometimes bantu baye bathi selfish when you do that, when you put yourself first. Ngabe where does that come from? Why do people think if I want to fulfill now I'm being selfish and I'm a bad person, hence bamvunyelwe sebadecide labanye badecide ukuthi no anginakeyena into bekuthi zingandivele, let me, instead of thinking about myself.
Okay, so when we look at it from that perspective, I would say everything we do in life depends on the intention. If your intention is to not be kind, because self-love talks about kindness, be kind to yourself. Take care of yourself to the point lapho khona you actually make it easy for the other person to want to take care of you. As opposed to expecting the other to be taking care of you. So when people assume that self-love is being selfish or prioritizing yourself as being selfish, it's because we've been socialized to believe lokho ukuthi nangithi mine uyabona ekhaya sikhuliswe ukuthi kumele unakekele wonke umuntu, unakekela makhelwane, unakekela uyayibona vele. But if as wena leto timfo leto, and nyalo we have issues of black tax, for example. So if ngiyabekisa ekhaya nguwe long breadwinner and you don't put boundaries, because self-love ihambisana nani, put boundaries kwekuthi guys mina ngikhona kuhamba ngifike la, from lana angisakhona, that's self-love. Hayi ukuthi utizele to the point lapho khona uzugcina ubenyanya nalabamflo bendela tinfo. Your intention of doing it is wrong. It's based on pressure coming from somewhere. Uyayibona vele awendi ngoba so wenda ukuthi inhlitiyo yakho ifuna oyavuma. So ukwenda ngoba khona lo sekuphusha either uzama kuba ngilo move lo responsible emehlweni ebantu. But first, before you can be responsible for the other person, you must be responsible for yourself. Titsengeko takho tatiwa nguwe. Lo mnye umuntu akatati.
Njobe sithenza le ndzaba ye self-love, nasikhuluma nje ngothando. A lot of people only look at it in a relationship way, ukuthi cha sikhuluma ngebudlelwane kuphela. But I know ukuthi because we spoke before this, ukuthi when we talk about self-love, kuningi lokufaka ekhathi. Can you just break that down? You did mention ukuthi parenting is also ifaka ekhathi even teenagers. Can you just break that down? And ukuthi when you are a teenager kahle kahle, when we're talking about self-love, what does that look like?
So self-love angisho qala with the individual. Then kungene ekuthenini I as an individual then function in an environment, social environment. Kunebakithi, kunebamfa bami, kunebatali bami. Uyabona, there is leaders in all the different spaces where I exist. So when we talk about love and kindness and compassion towards yourself, very key. Then that will spill over to the other people in your life. So as ngiyabekisa nyalo nje isikhathi gona sikhuluma bo month of love and all of that.
True.
But ideally it shouldn't be just a month of love. It should be a lifetime of love and showing love, because everything must start from a space of love. Uyayibona le mboleko. So we are khona ukuthi ube nebudlelwane in terms of love relations. You must have love relations with your children. Love relations with your brother, sibling relation angisho. Which nyalo a lot of families are struggling because luthando emindenini alusekho, or the misunderstandings la khona tinkinga lesetikhona tiyasengama sigcine sicabanga ukuthi angisamthandi lo wakithi umfana ngoba uyangihlupha. Uyabona vele. So as a teen, for example, nyalo nje there's a lot of divorces that are happening. Families are broken, and so which means batali are going through a lot. Labanye then they neglect the part yekuthi bane bamfana from an emotional support and psychological support perspective.
Yeah.
Umntala atitshele ukuthi lo mfana ngiyamondla mos.
Phelela.
Yabona konke ama needs akhe basic material physical ngiyakumendela. Bamfana nyalo they actually demand more from us. So as a teen as well, nawe when you try to show love kumntali, uthola ukuthi umntali wakho engrossed etingingeni takhe akakunaki. Ukunika gadget. That's not love.
Yeah, true.
That is where a lot of things have gone wrong. Lapho khona abamfa bethu luthando abalati kahle luthando lamake nababe. Ngoba sekulukhuni kwathine ukuthi sikhombise luthando we don't have love left type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so yeah.
Sekuningi lesiloko sindlula kiko. Uyabona la kulo lama intimate relations lesikiwo. Ngalana pressure from work. There's a lot going on.
True.
Yes,
True.
yes.
Utsinzele batali, watsinza nema teenagers. Now as a woman, self-love, what does that look like? Ngimuva sifazane nje.
As women, I do believe, Guti, first and foremost, I always say, before I'm even a psychologist, I'm an African woman. So what does love mean for me as an African woman is where I would define it.
Yeah, true.
We are born. So, nalo Guti sibukete social media, for example, any social platforms. Lala sitshela ukuthi lithanda ngiloko bese sicabanga ukuthi ngilemfo leyo lekudinga siyende sibe ngiyo. When in actual fact, look at yourself. Look at the means, your reality. Uyayibona lemfo leyo.
Yeah.
And your reality from a financial perspective, emotionally, what are your needs? I was just saying, Jay, as we were talking, Guti, has anyone thought about the fact that, for example, a Valentine's gift or package needs to include therapy sessions, a voucher, a therapy session? Bantu bafuna timbali bo chocolate nan. That's instant gratification. What's going to happen after?
I like
then?
how you put terms on everything. I like how you put terms on everything.
The
Yeah.
psychologist is just, it has become.
So that's,
As a woman,
yeah.
you must know what it is that you wish for yourself. A lot of us are lost
Very.
because we are confused by the fact that siyabakhuluma abo self-worth, but usho kuthini self-worth?
Yeah.
Do we even know what self-worth means? Noma sibuka info lebhalwe phasi, ibhalwe ngumuntu lose-America, lose-Europe, lokuphi kuphi utokutshela nga-self-worth. But asesihlale sesikhulumisane sibafati siseswatini kuthi lo self-worth usho kuthini. So that we are able to then identify ukuthi when is it self-worth or just theoretical, conversations in your head that you are thinking that is self-worth.
Yeah.
Ngoba lo self-worth wakho ufuna kube ukuthi uthethele Europe nje. In your immediate environment, you can't even apply it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So sometimes what people overlook, ngiloko ukuthi self-love usho nekuthi your mental health, very key. How the conversations you have with yourself about what is what. Ngingathi ngifuna ema-roses or ngifuna kuthandwa ngalolu hlobo leli. Ngani ngoba ngibone Embali athandwa ngosinathi for excuse me if your man is not ngosinathi cha sisho for beginning say yayibona phela. So ngingathi ngibone Embali athandwa kanje nami ngicabange ukuthi ngifuna kuthandwa kanjalo.
True.
I don't know whether Mbali is actually being loved like that or she's showing and presenting it that way.
And we don't look at it that way.
We never look at the fact that people a lot of the time present things in a particular way that is where society will be like, wow. But nasa yedwa lo muntu. I'll make an example. Yesterday they were commemorating the death of Whitney Houston. How can someone like Whitney Houston, for example, with so much money, I'm sure sometimes we think love is about money as women.
That's what we think.
So Whitney had money. She could have had any man she wanted. But she committed suicide because, and may her soul rest in peace, she had one of the best voices in the world.
Yeah.
But it was never enough. Self-love. Self-love is what she needed the most. Because when you are a person and you don't love yourself, when naso wetfana, yabo naso wetfana, lapho khona tinvo tonke tidlala in your mind ukuthi okay, am I happy? Do I even pursue what makes me happy? Noma I'm rolling. I call it survival mode. A lot of people are living in survival mode.
Yeah, true.
No one is existing in the best version of self.
But what can we do? Because now you're saying because of the things that we went through or things that we're going through. Now we can't even show uthando. For them, because bangabi and the next coming years. What role can we play?
I believe the first role is to look at yourself in the mirror and start having a conversation with that person in the mirror. The conversation with the mirror is, asesikhulumeni leqiniso ekubeni what is really happening in our lives. Let's not live life according to ukuthi esonveni basigadze ukuthi sibe njani. Emsebentini, ekhaya. We keep putting ourselves on pedestals.
Yeah, man.
So kumatima, you can't keep up with the Joneses. Yabo nyalo if we don't be authentic. And being authentic ngikhulumela ekuthenini simo sakho sibuke. Uthi na usibuka bese uyadibuta uthi vele ngijabulile yini la. Am I in a happy place? Mine, what am I doing to contribute to my life? Kuze ibe kule simo lekiso nyalo.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that people don't understand in self-love, accountability. Asifuni kuba accountable to how we contribute to trauma in our lives.
Yeah.
Yabona nabathi, when you are the weapon, the weapon formed against yourself.
Yeah.
Ubungaboni.
Yeah, you're the weapon yourself.
Because we are always pointing fingers as Guti, he's the problem or she's the problem or they are the problem. Yet we never want to look at how we contribute to the problem or the situation we find ourselves in.
You touched part I think masicala indzaba yokuthi sometimes we do things in terms of mbekise nje in a family thinking towards mhlambe I need to do things ndifike la but ngalokuthi ngifuna kubajabulisa sengenda extra ngcine sengasabathanzi because I would say because I don't because now I'm stressed even over there's this thing called blood tax, right? So sometimes I need to take care of everyone while you're just chilling and you're taking care of everyone. I'm saying this because once I had a conversation with someone Nailana as a guest sometimes you can't even now no imalo holago uthi uyabuka ukuthi wena uthola ini there's nothing it's not so uqedze kwendela ngumvu there's nothing ubukele inyanga letako there's nothing still. What can you say to people ukuthi and as much as we are taught to take care of our brothers and sisters and everyone else but how to discipline yourself, what can you say?
So first and foremost, bringing it back to self-care, what's the intention? That you are taking care of people.
Yeah.
Ukwenda because ngiyabekisa you feel responsible. Ngiyabekisa nikhule as orphans. Umzala. Uyabona wena. Uyayibona vele. So or you are the one lengathi ungcono in quotes lakhaya lokhona kufunza nangabe kufunza noma lokhona kushesha utimele and all of that. As ukwenda because vele beswele because this is another part. Sometimes we have self-sabotaging habits that we accumulate or we adopt singaboni. Lomnye umuntu utakusida ungakamceli. Angithi?
Yes.
So uthola ukuthi you are that sibling lele funa kuba in control of everything. That person is likely to want to also, even if as they help, they are helping because they want to be needed.
Okay.
They are not helping ukuthi vele basita ngoba kudzingekile. Uyayibona vele? Nalesi sidzingo kudzinga bese uyasibuka. Otherwise then you wake up one day you realize what happened to my life. And bese unyanya abantu ube bitter. Lo munye uthole ukuthi uyakusita kepha ukusita ukuthi ufune ube ngilemvo lefunwa nguye.
True.
You'll never follow your own path empilweni on what it is you want to be ngoba usitwa ngisomeone. Uyayibona vele? And that can even happen with parents. Kusita umuntu guys, uyamsita umuntu but ungamsiti ngenvo le tamenda atha dependele kuwe for the rest of their lives. Empowerish umuntu. Don't create dependency. So black tax is an issue of dependency.
Okay.
Umuntu fazaplane ngemali yakho aboleke asho siswami utawuhola mhla 15. Uyayibona vele?
Yeah, it's rough out here.
Do you understand? So wena nje na uthi uyabuka so wetfa. If you sit and then you look at everything I do, everyone else benefits but me. Then gelapho you are in deep trouble.
Yo, thank you so much. Because mbukeli solubukele hlelo Embili kanye extra. Sikhuluma indaba lemcaka kakhulu mbukeli endzaba ye self love, a very broad topic. Please don't go anywhere mbukeli ngoma. Emva kwale break lena we're going to talk more about self love.
Residents of Simunye and surrounding areas are notified that intense TV license door-to-door inspections are being conducted in the region. The exercise starts on the 19th to the 28th of February 2024. Stay alert. Our TV license inspectors will be wearing Eswatini TV gear and will have tags that confirm their identity. Don't be scammed. Our inspectors do not ask for cash payments. Pay your TV license only at specified pay points or call us on 34050163 or 78024545 for more information. Alternatively, you can send a WhatsApp message to 76222000 and we'll chat with you. Pay your TV license today, enhance the industry.
Welcome back mbukeli ubukele hlelo Embili kanye extra. Sikhulumisa indzaba lemcaka kakhulu ke mbukeli indzaba ye self love. Ngadi ke ukuthi unawe lapha ekhaya khona utakufunza namuhla. Nangabe ke akwamtshela makhelwane ukuthi ihlelo selikhona njalo uMadisa mbukeli. This is a very important topic that every one of us needs to be aware of, and we need to learn a lot of things today on the program. Because before we went for an air break, besikhulumisa indzaba ye black text. But now I just want to, because this program is funa ukuthi ekugcineni bami bagcine sebafunze lokuthide bambe lokuthide namuhla kulendzaba ngicela nje sibone kancane kulendzaba ye black text, because at times you feel like, oh ngiyabajikela because they can afford, you know, and then vele so feel now the hate sebakhona because yes I have 200 rand but now there's no bigger that I need to take care of, there's bigger, there's Embili, there's, you know what I mean, when awukho by the time kusala yakho sekusele 50 cent and then the next month come, how do I sit down and talk about this in a proper way and say, guys, you know what, yes, I need to provide for you all, but I need to take care of myself as well, or I just decide as Kanye and be like, guys.
I do believe ukuthi ifike ilahleke nje kahle kahle from not upbringing, so to speak, but lemvo yokuthi ekhaya sikhula info siyibona yendeka in a particular way. Sithathe tulu nathi kanjalo. We are living in different times now. Nyalo siyakhona hlala phasi simindeni sikhulumisane. Singawuhlale phasi ngiyabekisa bit nakusese nemtali ekhathi ngoba lo munye umuntu lothola ukuthi vele le pressure udayithola ngumtali. Uyabona akhulumele umvane emvanakhe Nkosi yami. And it makes sense ngoba umtali phela lo muntu uvudlela kuye. Nangabe kunalo munye longasebenzi nje la ekhaya lo mtali uyamvela, uyabona. But asenihlale phasi sikhulumisana, I call them mental health conversations. lapho khona sitokhuluma singumndeni sikhulumisa indzaba yekuthi woye bekunene yebo kona ngiyasebenza kepha nami tithi ngeke tami nginati nanati ene emalini lengathi ngiyayibamba letithi ngeke tami tithatha 60 or 70%. Lo 30% ngingakhona yabona kunakunja esivivaneni la ekhaya. But ngicela kungabi ukuthi nikubukede ngendlela yekuthi vele kufanele. Uyayibona vele?
Yeah.
Sometimes we create it ourselves. We create expectation. We make people expect certain things of us. That's why I call it self-sabotaging habits and behavior. Because we do that not knowing ukuthi sizama kuvala, we are overcompensating for something. Sifuna kuthandwa noma ufuna bang rich aunt. Uyayibona vele? Ngidzaba tabo rich aunt vibes. So tonke letimvo leto they contribute to where we find ourselves overstretched. Ngoba lo overstretched ngilapho khona ubese uhlala phasi ubuke uthi maye ngiyasebenta kamadini. Maye kepha maye angiva le mali angiyiboni manje. Uthole ukuthi yathi kuba kusiko kuthi ngondla umfana nabani. Uyayibona le mfana. So some people are able to do that and it doesn't affect them. But some people you find lemvo uthi nakayenda nasahleli yedwa ubathi uyahlala akajabuli. So if anything when you are sitting on your own makes you unhappy, you must know ukuthi you are now depriving yourself of the self-love actions, because self-love is actionable phela. So your actions are no longer towards self-love, they are sabotaging your self-love effort. Uyayibona le mfana. Asesikhulumeni, asesifundzeni lokuhlala. We can't keep sweeping things under the carpet. Asesifundzeni simaswati ukuthi sihlaleni phansi singumndeni. Sibonisane. People will think umuhle nje mbalunje. Uswenkile umuhle unje. Uyabona uyaglowa. Uneglow emntaneni. Na uhamba la abantu bakubona unemali. Nasekhaya uthola ukuthi bakubona kanjalo. But ungakabahlalisi phansi ubachazele ukuthi bekunene kude Nkosi yami maye bangafane bathi uyancisha nakhe. Uyayibona vele? Because that is where then it gets to. Bese seba uthola silama rivalries la khaya la khona. But at least abakhulume nje babe bati ukuthi ke jamaye washo. Then lona lo sita kwasite nganyelanga nimthola ahenge emakabheni abhala incwadi anibhale nonke uthi ngitibulele ngenxa yokuthi wena make wena bhuti wena sisi umfanakho yabona that type of thing. Lemvo leyo kuyoba silonza for the rest of your life. So if we're not having these conversations lemakhaya as families asikhulumi ngiko letinye tintfo uthole ukuthi tize timosheke asifuni ukukhulumisa tindzaba letimcoka.
I think we did touch on that family, Jobi's comments about parenting, teenagers, and Bomag. And I'll talk about Bobabe. As a man, when you want to talk about self-love, kuleo part leyo, ihamba njani, what does that part look like?
It's very tricky. I'll be very subjective because I'm not a man. So I'll speak as a woman who has a son. Because I always say to people, let's have conversations with our children that will teach us. So the conversations I have as well with young people, young men, you get to find ukuthi they are very confused nge-identity yabo. Abatati ukuthi kahle kahle babo bani bona in terms of society's expectations of men. It's a lot. It's a lot that, you know, men in whatever strata, they are all going through a lot. But lokhu buhlungu ukuthi emadvodza wakhona nalokukhuluma ngayo lenzaba. Ngoba they've been told ukuthi indvodza ayikhali. Uvele wende, bekumele ukwende. Ukhalela kutakusita ngani lokukhala ngoba akulethi isolution. Uyayibona vele. But lekumele bakwadi ukuthi even as usafuna le solution, akusho ukuthi kumele ungabi nendzawo la utata ihemula khona. And sadly, umuntu wesilisa utawuthola ukuthi ihemula etindzaweni nasetinfeni nangetinfo leti hambe phize timbangele tinkinga kwayena. Uyayibona lemfo leyo. So lo yena ngithi ufuna ini a space la atawurelease khona the feelings, the emotions and everything the whole thing where they get confused ukuthi yathi lo mfati noma lo ntombazana konke ngimendele mani but akeneli noma ngentana akeneli uyayibona lemvo leyo. And it's painful to see that. It's painful to see how young men, for example, don't know ukuthi lithando yini a lot of the time. Batalibona aphi.
Yeah.
Batalwa ngithi thine lena nathi si confused. Lena nathi se konke nje seku up and down like ekhaya la endlini. Or a lot of young men batalwa from single parents. Good role model lengibabe letamkhombisa ukuthi lithando yini. Noma mhlambe ukhona ke loyo, and this is just me saying ukuthi I'm not saying applies fully 100% for every man, every family and stuff, but angisho lana sitokwakha sito highlighter nato letimvo lekudzinga ukuthi out there people must be aware of. So our young children who are males are coming from broken families. Incumbi yabo labanye they come from families of where they are orphans because phela we've been through COVID. I mean, we have your HIV and AIDS. There's so many other socially related health factors or health issues, social issues that have deprived that young man of his parents. And now tuyabuka, utofundziswa ngubani lo muntu lona ukuthi lithando yini.
You know.
Ubese sowungena kuphi social media. Abuke ukuthi hawu yathi kuthanda umuntu bathi ngiloku la. Now tuyabuka lemvo le, it's not realistic. Then he puts himself under pressure and it creates anxiety.
A lot of times.
So le anxiety lapho khona abantu bacabanga ukuthi bese lo muntu une depression besihleka nje. Na labheka ukuthi it's not depression. There's a difference between depression and anxiety. A lot of people namuhla nje have anxiety because tomorrow is Valentine's. So a lot of people have anxiety. Ukuthi ngabe ngendani imali nginayo yini, yathi ngithi imali ngisanza kubhadala school fees, ngisanza kubhadala malume, hey lo mfulono na yabona singathi ke labana labangu7 side chick mom chick banibani nayo ugadze yabona na wife chick ikhona lapha all of them,
you know what I mean, talking about
you ugadze something.
Talking about that part yenzabe Valentine which is happening tomorrow. Nalenzabe in my social platforms or rather in media as a whole.
Yes.
Ukatsile nawe because untobeko wakhe mhlawumbe utamlethela ama roses and whatever kusasa pressure inyuke kakhulu. Nawe sokatsile if bangakwendi kuwe so ukuthi abangithandi and mhlawumbe not even mhlawumbe I love language yakho is different. But because now sebatothi in office because mina bakangilethela balethele nontobeko. So when it comes to that singenda njani to understand angadlo singayibeka kanjani but to understand ukuthi nangabe umlangeni yena indlela yakhe konatimve kanje akusho ukuthi kamasuku bena the same thing because lapho nawe soba depressed noma soba anxiety because ngalaba mshara tandla kimi kanendlela yakhona and mhla ka15 is around the corner just after mhla ka14 ndoba namhla ka15. You know what I mean? So yeah, what can you say to the people watching at home ukuthi prepare I mean mentally ngalelanga lakusasa?
Firstly,
because expect ba
so I would say first and foremost, each and every couple, if it's a couple, because in Kumbula Valentine's it's supposed to be a family thing.
Yes.
Universally. So I would say, how many men out there are thinking Valentine's? Let me take out my girl child. Let me buy roses for my girl child.
You know.
As opposed to magwake. Hayi ngoba ngim appreciate magwake, but babe namage bane maphilo talk of appreciation. When will you as a man role model what a good man is to your daughter? Asesishinjeni, let's change the narrative this time around. Women, what are you going to do for your son if you have a son? So for those who only have boys only or girls only, parents, let's not make it about us. Let's make it about our children. Our children, guys, are suffering. They are suffering big time. So, as couples, let's say it's an intimate relationship. Lomhlaka 15, meaning mhlambe labanye bahola 15, so which means ikusasa ngcume banibede imali. Baku peak period of brokenness. I would say lo njengoba uyishito kahle na uqala wathi we are celebrating a month of love. And I like how nyalo there's this mentality or this shift where people are saying it's my birthday month. Yayibona le nto leyo. So it doesn't mean ukuthi just because tomorrow is the day of commemorating or kukhumbula lo love, as people put it, lo Saint Valentine's, then kumele kube ngisasa. Funa kube mhlambe nende a reservation and nitabe nihamba asingayibali ke le weekend nkosiyami ngoba emagani. Siphume nje kule weekend bongosi siye ebuhleni. And then sibuke ukuthi end of the month mhlambe by then yabona you guys as a family, if it's a family, or as a couple, if it's a couple, or as friends, niyakhona to still celebrate. Because it's about celebration.
Yeah, basically.
It's not about 14 February. We sisuke thina sithathe tinto sifune ukuthi faka in a box. Create your own traditions as couples.
Yeah.
Kushito bani ukuthi it must be roses. Yayibona mfele.
Yaba school fees.
Thank you. I-package ye-Valentine.
You know, kube school fees.
Uyayibona le mfo leyo.
Yeah, true.
Kungaba nguwe wena ungumakoti i-package ye-Valentine maketala asesiye ekhaya siyobendela something. Uyayibona mfele leyo.
Yeah. Create
your own traditions.
Yeah, that's true.
In families. Traditions though that also as nenda langama traditions lango nati ukuthi you are creating happiness in your own space as well.
Yeah.
In as much as you do for others, but do for yourself. Let's stop having these high unrealistic expectations of another person doing for you. How about women or whoever, you are a man or woman, uti appreciate ngani wena? Asothengele le timbali. Mhlambe nani ngabona senibhali timalini guys.
Bangayeke like expected from our
Mina nje
brothers.
imbali ngahamba ngiyoyicela kuma stand ngoba nato le timbali. Ngithe make ngicela ungiphe timbali. Yayibona?
Yeah.
So there's many ways of self appreciation. It's about appreciation. Yayibona vele?
Yeah.
Celebration.
No, we're gonna talk more about that. We're gonna go for a short break because yenza kakhulu and imcwa kakhulu because isintimvo sithi ngathi siyadatikane cha sibona ngalilingile. So I'm very grateful ukuthi you are here to break it down and to give everything ligama. Okay, you're still watching Embili Kanye Extra. I'll be back just after this short break.
Vibes from Hoops. Studio One is back on your screens with brand new episodes. Brand new episodes. Catch your favorite local artists, live performances, your movers and shakers, the hustlers, doing the work. Entertainment news, local and international, nothing but fresh vibes every Saturday at 6 p.m. Let's go. What are you doing on a Saturday evening? We got nothing but the best. Vibes from Hoops.
Welcome back, Mbukeli. You are still watching Embili kanye Extra. Sinayo Ntobeko kaDlamini Mbukeli sikhulumisa indzaba ye self-love. And before even an break, but since indzaba Valentine Mbukeli, as we all know, ukuthi this is a month of love where we show time. It's not just about relationship, but it's even family, and we must learn to create our own tradition. I really like that. Ngithatha kakhulu le part leyo ukuthi create your own tradition, because Vele, who said it's all about flowers and chocolates? You know, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's so nice to have your own thing, especially Nano Itzinzile that I really, really love. I think I'm going to take this home. Leo would see if you have a son, buy your son something, or if you have a daughter, vice versa. That is very nice, because lapo now you're you know,
Kakhulu.
I can still appreciate you. Don't have to
Yes.
wait for another person to do it. I am appreciating you, and I'm showing you time. So let's send ye month of love and celebrating Valentine's. Njengoba sibalekele ke Dlamini ngoba Nkosi yami sikuyo lenyanga. Lama expectations singazama njani ukubalances, because the social, it's out there every day. Secingweni kuseni emini ebusuku it's there, and nayo le mpilo lefana iphilo kahle kahle ngile. Senanjani to balance that so that sitokhona manje lokuba kahle, because sa mental health ke usho njalo producer wami uthi uya ku mental health. Sitokhona njani ukubalancisa, because kuningi man, in as much as want to run away from that, senanjani ukuthi regardless ukuthi the social states, but mina I'll stand on this.
So in the definition yalo self-love nje it's a self-awareness. So that's what's missing in a lot of people. If you allow trends to consume impilo yakho, if trends social media or whatever's happening in socials, because socials is not even just social media, it's also kubuka ukuthi kamakhelwane baphila njani. That's a social platform lesingayinaki. That also iyangeta etinven. But when you are self-aware, we are tati wena ukuthi you are not going to be envious of other people's lives because you are creating your own. It goes back to the part, create your own tradition. Wena, tradition is basically indlela yekuphila. Create your own culture of being and of living and existence. Because culture is a way of life. That's the definition of culture.
Yeah.
So what is your way of life? If your way of life yakho wendela kubukwa, ubo wati ukuthi the day you crash and burn, and a lot of the time when that info, because ban batotsini. So the labo ban bazotini syndrome, labasiphathako, then you are in trouble.
Yeah.
So ngiko ngithi lama expectations lakhona, as someone who knows my value, labo self-worth, usho kuthini self-worth kuwe? Self-worth to you ufana na self-worth wa Oprah. Uyiphethe wena lesijumbane Oprah lana, so lo self-worth wakhe ngoba ukuleyo level. Uyayibona le?
Yeah.
Self-worth has got nothing to do with money. Self-awareness ayingenelani nje imali. Uyayibona? Self-love angenelani imali. Self-love tento lotenako wena lo timisela ukuthi empilweni yakho ufuna kuphila impilo letakujabulisa.
But Dlamini ucabanga ukuthi ilimele kuphi, because ngiyakuva and iqiniso lami lo yisho konyalo lokuthi self love akusimali, but esikhathini esiningi siye sicabange ukuthi nangabe umuntu singiyakushayela uvela ungithi ngiwalethele le 5,000, ngithi uvele uthi I have a gift for you, ngithi ngiphuma ngaphandle, it's a car. Ilimele kuphi la khona sisiva ngazi ukuthi ngiloko lo kufanele kube ngiko, but the more nangabe kude lokho akangithandi. Silimele kuphi thina noma ilahleke kuphi lenzaba yokuthi salo sibona ngazi ukuthi nangile mali na the material things, then that is love. Sesitikhohlwe thina in the process.
So I would say ilimele ekuthenini a man must be a provider.
Indoda must.
Yabuya yathi indoda must. Provider and indoda must is two different concepts. Yayibona le mfana. And two, what happens when the man does not have the means to provide? Does it mean he has no value? So even men themselves, if value yabo, their self-worth, they define it according to financial status,
Very true.
which is painful to see. There are men that I've seen who are present fathers in their children's lives. Anganamali, keja uyamati umvanake. Abe anganamali, the money that we are looking for lema feeling. Kephi yakhona ukuthi umvanake uyati umvanake utsandzani, udlani, umfana wakhe uthanza bani esikolweni. Uyayibona vele?
Yeah.
There's certain conversations that this person is having nebamfa bakhe. I've seen women who've got money and where their men or partners have less, capacity financially at the time. Ngoba akuhlali kunjalo sonke isikhathi.
Yeah.
Ngiko lo munye umuntu wesilisa umthole atibulala ayithatha impilo yakhe because uthola ukuthi bekanemali mhlawumbe ulahlekelwe ngumsebenzi or something happened akasanayo le mali, then people start falling away from their life. And that person's concept of self, it crumbles. Uyayibona vele? Iyaphihlika, iphihlitwa ukuthi akasalitholile lelo lithando, yena bekacanisa lithando.
Yeah.
But banbe bangathanzi yena bathanza le mali yakhe. Uyayibona le mfele? So angisho ukuthi mine men mustn't provide whatever. But asesibukeni self-sufficient. Hayi provider. Asesishinjeni lenzaba. Look for a self-sufficient man. Meaning a man that won't depend on you, ngiyabekisa.
Yes.
Or self-sufficient asesimdefined. If it's financial self-sufficiency, lesikhuluma ngayo, then it would mean that person niyabambisana. Angisho?
Yes.
Angisho nyalo sonke siyakhona kusebenza. Uyayibona vele?
Yes.
So siyabambisana etinveni. Umuntu angendele ecele ngoba kuphuma enhlitweni. Hayi ngoba une pressure yokuthi vele kufanele ende njalo ngoba socially bantu bagadze ukuthi kube kanjalo. Uyayibona le mfo le?
Yeah.
Silimala ekuthenini we get caught up ku pressure yokuthi society ithini. Asaphila impilo thina according to lemfo lesifisile noma lesicabanga ukuthi ngiyo. Sibuka ukuthi bantu uyabona
Yeah.
bathini. Ubone ama trends of, for example, people getting PhDs. Just ukuthi bakubide nga doctor. Uyayisebenzisa yini le PhD day to day?
Yeah.
Do you even know what a PhD is for? And what it is about? Because that's an academic career that you're pursuing where you will add knowledge to society. You'll be writing articles, books, and adding knowledge and contributing knowledge. But uthola umuntu une PhD, hleli nayo. It's the same thing when it comes to issues of society and what we think society expects.
Yeah.
Sometimes the thing of expectation, it is you.
How so?
Uyaticabangela ukuthi it's what people expect of you. And upapha memuva uve bantu bathi but me good umumvu moslo wasilemvu yende.
Yeah.
Ube ngiyo. Ukuthethephi wena uthi sikucabanga kanjalo.
Angithi inkosi uyamcabangela umuntu ukuthi let me just do this for this person noma akangiceli, you're lending a hand.
So sometimes lo lending a hand uyambona ukuthi uhambisana nekuthi njengoba ngishido what's your intention?
It goes back to the intention.
Yes, it goes back to the whole concept of intention. Because why do you do things? For example, ngiyalo nje labantu abathola ukuthi uthengele lo munye ama roses. What if lo muntu ama roses akawathanzi?
Allergic.
Chocolate. Thina manje asidli. Qhamuke ne chocolate. Surprise. Ngubuke nguhlahlele emehlo. Because at the end of the day, if you keep assuming based on your perceptions of what women
Yeah.
should be, women like, you don't get a chance to actually open up the door to say, let's actually have a conversation. Uthanzani. When Valentine nje nawubuka ucabanga ukuthi kungaba yinto le kanjani.
Yeah.
Nami ngikutshele, people keep assuming Valentine is about women only.
Yeah, true.
No.
Very.
It needs to be mutually beneficial. Yabona? Kusebenzele sobabili.
Something, yeah.
Hayi kude nje la kubhalwe khona ukuthi iValentine ingebafati. But seyaba ngebafati. Uyayibona vele?
Ngabe limele kuphi kule part leyo parade is fine. Ngethemba
Angithi ngilothi siyakopa, sikope imvo lidale kubo Europe sithi lethe la khaya. Lo copy and paste akasebenzi yebonini.
at all.
Yes.
Dlamini. manje isikhathi esincane besifisele ukuthi iqhubeke le ndaba siyikhulumise. Thank you so much for time. Siyabonga nebabukela emakhaya ngathi ukuthi kuningi abakufunzile ehlelweni namuhla as we're watching ihlelo Embili kanye ngethemba lokuthi we gonna have lesinye isikhathi noma ke lelinye ilanga lapho khona siqhubeka sikhulumisa le ndaba. It might not be this but lokunye we would really want to have you on the program again. Mbukeli bonguyena Ntombeko wakadlamini sikhulumisa indzaba yes self love, a very very important topic lapho khona ifaka tindzaba letiningi kakhulu mbukeli kusasihlahla nje mbukeli timphansi so that nawe ekhaya ngethemba usikhwala ukubambile kulobe sikhuluma ngako kufaka ekhathi ama teenagers, parents and also women nabo babeke nabo ekhathi ukuthi nasikhuluma nge self love sikhuluma ngendlela enjani, what is expected of you when we are talking about self love and self awareness because it's very important nokuthi nawe lesikhathi ulibeke embili. Happiness is very important. It's very important for you to sit down or rather look at yourself in the mirror and say yeah, I'm really happy about myself, I'm happy about the person that I'm looking at the mirror. Mbukela siphinde sihlangane evilandelayo ngaso sisikhathi esifanako. Mina ngimbalo kaSimlana umngoni Pembe ndaba zemchawane. Ngiyathi enjoy the rest of the viewing.